was some crazy work. And just with him and Devin working, it was crazy entertaining work at that particular time.
What the Chrissy what? Exactly. That's why we brought him back.
I'm that good. None of these fighters could beat me. And if you sign up to fight me, good luck.
Floyd Mayweather just dropped a bombshell about Devin Haney that's got the entire boxing world buzzing. And what he said is absolutely wild. During what was supposed to be a routine sparring session between Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, Floyd witnessed something that made him completely lose it on Bill Haney, Devin's father. We're talking about one of the greatest fighters of all time watching these two elite boxers go at it, and coming away with some seriously heated opinions. The sparring session was supposed to be intense preparation, but it turned into something way more revealing about where these fighters really stand. Floyd described the action as impressive, with both fighters showcasing incredible skill levels, but what came next nobody saw coming.
He can do crazy numbers. It's going to be hard to break my record because you have so many people stealing. You know, so many people stealing.
Streaming, yeah.
Yeah, streaming. It's still stealing. If they're not paying for it, they're free. It's stealing.
The sparring footage shows something that has everyone talking. These two fighters are dead even in skill level. We're watching Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney exchange bombs, matching each other shot for shot, neither one backing down an inch. Every combination Devin throws, Shakur answers back. Every defensive move Shakur makes, Devin counters with something equally brilliant. This isn't your typical sparring session where one guy is clearly better. This is two elite fighters at the absolute peak of their games, and honestly, it's beautiful to watch. But here's where it gets crazy. This equal display of skill is exactly what set Floyd off, because it exposed something about Devin that his own father apparently didn't want to admit. That's when Floyd Mayweather absolutely exploded on Bill Haney, and what he said is going to sting for a long time. Floyd straight up told Bill that his son Devin is only showing this level of skill in the gym, but when it comes to actual fights, he's not bringing that same energy to the ring. Think about that for a second. Floyd Mayweather, who's seen every type of fighter imaginable, is essentially saying Devin is a gym warrior who can't translate his sparring dominance into real fight performance. This isn't some random trainer talking trash. This is Money Mayweather calling out one of the sport's rising stars for not living up to his potential when the lights are brightest and the money's on the line.
I'm saying you pop it 1,000 times. Think you was talking about that sparring. Think you beat niggas up in sparring. I didn't watch you beat niggas up. And when my son got down on you, you dig what I'm saying? You act like you tell us.
Bill,
no, you tell us. No, you
Bill,
tell us.
Bill. If your son is undefeated in the gym, congratulations. Congratulations that you got an undefeated fighter in the.
But Shakur Stevenson, he's not backing down from anyone, and his response shows exactly why Floyd was so impressed with what he saw. Shakur came out swinging verbally, saying he's confident in his abilities and that none of these fighters can defeat him, but anyone who thinks they can is welcome to try. That's the kind of confidence that separates champions from pretenders. While Devin is getting called out for not showing up in real fights, Shakur is out here basically issuing an open challenge to the entire division. He's not just talking either. This is a guy who's proven himself across multiple weight classes and has the hardware to back up every word coming out of his mouth.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear because a lot of people don't realize how great I am. I've been told them this. It's like you got to keep saying it over and over, and it's like, as I'm saying it, it's like I'm wasting my breath because it's like people like, no, you know, oh, fight this guy. Oh, You won't do this to Teofimo Lopez. You won't da 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 da. It's a video of like me and when me and Cameron was going back and forth. He said something like, "Oh, take yourself up to 140 and fight Teofimo Lopez so he can knock your head off." And now it was like I did it, and like I said, now people getting to see what I done been saying from.
And get this, Shakur doubled down by saying he'll face anyone who calls his name, proving he's not avoiding any challengers in the sport. This is exactly the opposite of what some fighters do when they reach a certain level. Instead of cherry-picking easy fights or avoiding dangerous opponents, Shakur is basically putting up a billboard that says, "Come get some." That kind of mentality is what separates the real champions from the guys who just hold belts. He's not trying to protect an undefeated record or wait for the perfect stylistic matchup. He wants all the smoke, and that's exactly the attitude that has boxing analysts going crazy about his potential.
Like, nah, he just keeps saying my name to the public. This is a fight that people want to see. My fan base, they want to see this fight. I put the fight together. 2 days before the fight, now he's sick. He poisoned, somebody massaged him and did something to him. I don't know, all this that he kept talking about, but I'm just like showing y'all like what type of I am. I be like, but I know my wrongs. Like, I understand. That's why now I gotta like understand it's a business and not just get talked into doing things when it come down to like the public.
Now here's where the boxing world really starts paying attention. Bernie Thay Boxer broke down exactly why a Shakur versus Devin matchup would be absolutely massive. He pointed out that Shakur Stevenson has built a remarkable career as a 4-weight world champion, which is insane when you really think about it. We're not just talking about a guy who won a belt and defended it a few times. Shakur has proven he can dominate across multiple divisions, adapting his style and maintaining his excellence no matter who they put in front of him. Bernie emphasized that Stevenson has earned recognition as a 2-time linear champion and claimed 2 Ring magazine belts, which are the achievements that separate the real champions from the paper champions. This versatility across weight classes shows a fighter who doesn't just have one particular skill set. He's got the complete package.
Conor Ben comes into the ring, they talk, have some words, but Shakur Stevenson said, "I want to put that same rehydration clause you put on Chris Eubank." Tell me, what did you get out of that moment in the ring?
Well, I heard on the press conference where I think it was his manager said that, that was a clown move, but I think Shakur invited that, I don't even know if I would have said all that about Conor being right then, but I think he really wants that fight. He really wants the money for the fight. He been saying that. And now he came through victorious. I think he really wants that money for that fight. He wants the money for the.
But Devin Haney isn't some pushover either, and that's what makes this potential matchup so compelling. Bernie noted that Haney has developed a reputation as a highly skilled and disciplined competitor known for his speed, precision, and strategic approach to fights. His skill set makes him a worthy opponent capable of testing even the most accomplished champions, which is exactly why Floyd's criticism cuts so deep. If Devin really is as good as his gym work suggests, then this fight becomes an absolute war between 2 generational talents. The question becomes whether Devin can finally show up in a big fight the way he shows up in sparring, because if he can, we're looking at one of the most competitive fights boxing has seen in years.
Fights, accomplishments, because now Shakur is a 4-weight world champion. Devin is a 3-weight world champion. Devin was undisputed, but now Shakur is a 2-time lineal champion, so he's a 2-time Ring magazine winner, 2-time unified champion. If you want to add the ring, as far as with the WBO, he was unified at 130, so he's a 2-time unified champion, 2-time lineal champion, beat a guy like Teofimo Lopez, who rises to the occasion, had a close fight with George Kambosos. You can make a claim that he was fighting out of frustration or out of emotion, and that was it. He was in his prime too, Josh Taylor seemed to be drained at 140. Not taking away from Devin, but he was already moving up to 47, they were saying. Lomachenko was a little older and smart.
Sean Porter's breakdown of this potential matchup has everyone on the edge of their seats because of how he describes the action. Porter calls it an incredibly close and thrilling fight where both fighters are extremely fast, sharp, and intelligent in the ring, making it nearly impossible to predict a clear winner. He describes it as a high-speed chess match where victory depends not only on hand speed, but also on mental sharpness and the ability to set up and capitalize on openings in split seconds. Porter emphasizes that the fight would be intensely back and forth, with both men capable of creating fight-ending opportunities in an instant. When you have a former champion like Porter saying he can't pick a winner, you know you're looking at something special.
The thing with that is it's an amazing fight because both guys are very quick, very intuitive, and very fast and sharp. I do lean with, I'm not even gonna pick a winner in that because this is my first time playing it in my head, and I just see it. It's just so back and forth, and it's that fast chess that we always talk about, and it's that fast chess, which it's gonna be slick.
What wins a fast chess match? What makes a difference?
Who's fastest? Yeah. Honestly, it's who's fastest, and it's also not just who's fastest with the hands, but also mentally to make that setup in that second move and capitalize the fastest. That's a fantastic fight.
You think we see it?
Love to see it.
Yeah, but do you think? I think so. I think we get it at maybe 140.
I'm not rushing that fight, and I don't think we get it at 140. I think if we get it at 135.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Shakur. Maybe Shakur's got, I don't know, maybe a couple fights, if not less than that, at 130. And then I think a blessing for us will be Shakur going after fighters, not going after belts, not going after a championship title, but going after belts, or going after fighters. If he decides to go after fighters because it's getting him everything that he really did, turn pro to
Dan Raphael's analysis of Shakur's recent performance shows exactly why he's so confident calling out the entire division. Raphael highlighted that from the opening bell, it was clear Shakur had control in almost every aspect of the fight. While some expected a competitive bout with close rounds, the match turned out to be decisively one-sided, with Shakur consistently outperforming his opponent in ways that left veteran observers shaking their heads. His offense, defense, movement, and use of the jab were all exceptional, demonstrating a level of skill that left absolutely no doubt about the outcome. This wasn't just winning. This was a masterclass in boxing technique that reminded everyone why Shakur is considered one of the most technically gifted fighters in the sport today.
In my mind, I always felt like Shakur was going to win, and it was going to probably be a pretty comprehensive decision. But in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be, maybe it'll be 8-4, maybe it'll be 9-3, maybe the rounds will be somewhat competitive, but Shakur will win them because he's, as I said at the time, I felt like in every department he was probably a little better than Teofimo, except maybe for the pure punching power. But I thought that was negated because I don't think that either one of them is a big puncher at 140 pounds. But it turned out that the rounds weren't even competitive. So, you can have a fight where the score could be, that wide, but you look at each individual segment of the fight and you're like, okay, there was competition. This wasn't like that. This was Shakur easily.
Raphael emphasized that Stevenson's composure in the ring was remarkable. And here's what's crazy. Even in moments when his opponent appeared to rally, Shakur maintained complete control. He used precise punches and intelligent positioning to stay ahead, never panicking, never rushing, just systematically breaking down his opponent piece by piece. Raphael observed that conventional assumptions about punching power were misleading because Shakur effectively neutralized any threat while landing clean, telling shots, and preventing his opponent from establishing any meaningful offense. The analysis highlighted Stevenson's ability to dominate without relying on raw power, instead using timing, accuracy, and ring IQ to command every second of the fight. This performance wasn't just a victory. It was a statement showcasing his skill, preparation, and strategic mastery.
It wasn't even close. There was never a moment other than that 1 or 2 rounds where you had to even think about who was the winner, because it's so very clear that Shakur was doing it on offense, doing it on defense, with movement, with his jab was spectacular. He actually, to me, the conventional wisdom is he's the bigger puncher, Teofimo, than Shakur. No, he wasn't. Teofimo never landed a telling shot the whole freaking fight, and he never had shown any kind of serious punching power at 140 since he arrived in the division, other than the first bout in the division where he scored a knockout over a journeyman opponent.
the way I watched it, I was just like, oh, not in awe, but like, you know, when you're watching something and go, like, I think the consensus was that Shakur would outbox, and I think people get confused when we say to outbox the opponent. It's meant people associate with back foot.
But here's where the politics of boxing start getting messy, and it shows why fighters like Shakur get frustrated with the business side of the sport. Oladipo analyzed where Shakur currently stands in the boxing world, highlighting both his status as one of the biggest names and the challenges he faces with sanctioning bodies. Stevenson has positioned himself as a fighter capable of moving up in weight classes while planning to return to 135 pounds, which puts massive pressure on organizations like the WBC. These sanctioning bodies are dealing with their own internal conflicts while trying to manage major figures in boxing, and sometimes their rules make absolutely no sense from a fighter's perspective.
Stevenson blasts WBC and responds to being stripped of a 135-pound title. This is a bit wild. It's a bit wild, and the reason it's a bit wild, so many different reasons actually, but one of the biggest reasons is that Shakur has always said, I want to go up to fight Tio, but I want to come back down to 135. So basically, he's almost telling the WBC, let me go up there, I will come back down. And with what the WBC are going through right now, and this battle with Zuffa, where, you know, they've got some real big players and power over there, and they're saying F the belts, and WBC are fighting, saying none of the belts mean stuff. The last thing you want to do is have a public spat, a public back and forth with one of the biggest names in boxing right now. Shakur Stevenson is one of the biggest names in boxing. And the thing about Shakur as well, you piss him off, this guy will go straight to social media and make it known that he's pissed off, and that's what he's done.
And get this part, Shakur has openly expressed his frustration with the WBC over a sanctioning fee of $100,000, making it crystal clear on social media that he disagreed with their demands. Even though Stevenson's recent fights weren't for the WBC title, the organization's rules require a champion to pay half the sanctioning fee as if the belt were at stake. Depot described this as a questionable rule, and honestly, it sounds like straight-up robbery when you break it down. Despite these bureaucratic hurdles, Stevenson remains a high-profile figure whose decisions carry serious weight in the sport. His ability to speak out, challenge expectations, and maintain elite performance while dealing with this nonsense underscores his influence and reinforces his position as one of boxing's most prominent and respected athletes.
BC belt was on the line. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to find it and read it out to so I'm not paraphrasing, because this is quite important and I think it's a joke. I think it's a joke. I really do. All right. Okay, yeah. All right, rule 7.3. I'm going to put this on the screen as well. It says, in the event that a WBC champion competes in any belt in which his WBC title is not at stake, the champion is obligated to pay the WBC 50% of the WB sanctioning fee payable as if the belt were a title defense. What? What are we doing? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sorry, this is different to Terence Crawford. A lot of you kind of didn't agree with my take on Crawford saying F the WBC.
Now here's where the drama really heats up, because some analysts believe the repeated delays in the Shakur versus Devin fight suggest that Shakur might be intentionally avoiding the matchup. Every single time negotiations seem to progress, and fans start getting excited, unexpected obstacles arise that prevent the fight from being finalized. These constant setbacks have fueled speculation that Shakur is hesitant to face Haney in the ring, despite massive demand from fans and the entire boxing community. Observers argue that while both fighters are highly skilled and evenly matched, Shakur's apparent reluctance to commit has created frustration and skepticism that's making people question whether this fight will happen anytime soon or continue to be postponed indefinitely.
I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but like Shakur is literally fearing Devin Haney, because like every time like you go on a Shakur interview and every time he's mentioned to fight Devin Haney, Like, let's talk about the first time. Like, the first time that Shakur was asked to fight Devin, like, basically, Shakur was just, like, well, I think it was Cigar Talk. Like, he was on an interview with Cigar Talk. Like, basically, the first time they asked him, like, oh, would you fight Devin Haney? And Shakur was like, yeah, I would love to fight Devin, but I'm not moving up to 147. And he basically said that Devin Haney would have to move back down to 140, which we all know Devin is not moving back down to 140. And definitely ain't going back to 135 because he was just killing himself to make the lower weight classes that he was at. Like 135, like he was extremely killing himself. Like, look at him in the George Kambosos fight. Like the Ryan Garcia fight, his second fight at 140, he didn't look the best. He looked pretty drained, but he didn't look as drained like as he did against Kambosos because he was killing himself a lot to make 135. But Shakur just doesn't want Devin to be at his best. And just the amount of times that Shakur was just mentioning like rehydration clause, rehydration clause, rehydration clause, rehydration clause, rehydration clause, like over and over again, like in every single interview, like when they mentioned Devin Haney, like he's just talking about how Devin's too big. Like he's always complained about that and the clause that he's always talking about. Like, well, yeah, Shakur, that's why I would pick Devin to beat you, because if you're talking about that size being too much and you're just not confident and you're just bringing up rehydration clause, that's called fear, because you just don't want to fight a fighter where he's at his best. And we all know Devin is way better at 147 than he was at 1.
But hold up, there's another side to this story that completely flips the narrative. Some insiders believe Shakur isn't avoiding Devin Haney at all, but is actually aiming for much bigger challenges that could define his entire career. He's reportedly been in serious discussions to fight Conor Benn, which suggests he's seeking high-profile opponents rather than just delaying matches for no reason. This strategy prioritizes career-defining fights over immediate bouts, and honestly, it makes business sense when you think about it. Why take a dangerous fight against Devin when you could potentially land a massive payday against someone with Benn's name recognition? This approach fuels serious debate among fans and analysts about whether Shakur is being smart or ducking competition.
Let's talk about this Shakur and the Conor Benn thing. Shakur's been getting a lot of flack because fans feel like that Shakur is ducking Devin Haney. How do I feel about Shakur ducking Devin Haney? I don't think it's true. I don't think it's a thing. Shakur said he's going to go up, put a rehydration clause on the man to fight him. Is Devin Haney going to take a rehydration clause to fight? If not, I don't think so. So why are we even having the debate about him fighting Devin? It's not like he's fighting a champion to get a random accolade like a belt or something, you know? So it's really irrelevant to even bring up why Shakur is not fighting Devin. He's fighting Conor Benn because he feels like he needs to fight Conor Benn because he disrespected him or whatever the case may be. It's really nothing to it. Fans are trying to put Devin and Shakur against each other. I would love to see the fight, but it's whatever.
Looking ahead to 2026, boxing insiders are saying the most intriguing fight could be Keyshawn Davis versus Devin Haney, and the backstory makes it absolutely compelling. Tension has been building for years between Davis, his brothers, and Haney, fueled by verbal exchanges and competitive history that goes way back. In the 147-pound division, many believe a Davis-Haney matchup could generate more excitement than other potential fights, even those involving established names like Mario Barrios. Davis, already a proven champion at 135 pounds, brings both elite skill and championship experience, while Haney continues to establish himself as one of the division's most talented fighters. The combination of youth, athleticism, and hunger on both sides promises a compelling, action-packed bout that could steal the show.
Davis, Keyshawn Davis brothers, and Devin the Dream Haney. I believe in the 147-pound division that a Keyshawn Davis versus Devin Haney will be just as interesting, just as lucrative than any of those fights that we mentioned. A potential fight with Rolly Romero, potential fight with Devin Haney and Crocker. I think Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney would be a way better fight than that. Mario Barrios, I think that Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney promo will be way better than the Mario Barrios and Devin Haney. And of course, those are unification bouts, but we also in the landscape of boxing in which belts don't matter as much. It don't matter as much. It matters, but it don't matter as much. Keyshawn Davis was already a champion in the 135-pound division, and where he performed very, very well, because of course the performances that Keyshawn Davis has is really more entertaining than the performance that Shakur Stevenson had. We were talking about Shakur Stevenson and Tank in the 135-pound division, but as Keyshawn kept emerging, he was already a conversation of Shakur, Keyshawn, and Davis, Keyshawn. Of course, we got Andy Cruz. They're going to be facing Muradaya on the 24th, but look like that fight is not gonna happen. The primary fight for Keyshawn Davis now, in my opinion, is Devin the Dream Haney in 147, because that's his plan. The primary fight for a Devin Haney, in all actuality, should be now a Keyshawn Davis. If Keyshawn Davis is willing to fight you, and they call in and Devin Haney and Bill Haney, shout out to Bill Haney, he's done a wonderful job as a manager, is saying that they Debo, well, Keyshawn Davis is Craig, and Keyshawn Davis is running towards Debo.
Promoters are already seeing massive potential for this Davis-Haney clash, because it offers everything you want in a major boxing event. You've got high stakes with real titles on the line, engaging storylines built on years of real beef, and stylistic contrasts that should create fireworks in the ring. For fans, this fight represents way more than just championship belts. It's a chance to witness two rising stars compete at the absolute highest level while settling personal scores that have been brewing for years. The anticipation is already building, and we're still talking about a fight that's potentially 2 years away. That's the kind of buzz that creates unforgettable moments in boxing history.
So I think we all know that Mayweather telling the truth, but the fact is that Devin Haney was wrong by Top Rank when he had to fight Kambosos over and over in a different country. He should never have to fight Kambosos 2 times over and over like that. He was wrong, and Dev is getting back. He getting that get back, and a lot of times when fighters is wrong, they take it out on their next opponent, or whoever has to come up. They want them to come up the same way they came up. And whether it was wrong or right, that's the way that they look at it. I don't think that Dev is going to bend break for nobody, and I don't care who says what. My opinion don't matter, you know what I mean? But it's definitely exciting to see these guys is going to get in the ring within 2 to 3 to 5 years. These guys are going to get in the ring. So it's just exciting to see the build-up. This is just the build-up happening, man. It's exciting.
And here's the kicker that ties everything together. Shakur recently backed Floyd Mayweather's criticism of Devin Haney, showing he's not afraid to call out the drama and expose unfair fight deals when he sees them. By siding with Floyd's point about how Haney's approach didn't respect the bigger picture in boxing's hierarchy, Shakur made it crystal clear that he's watching everything closely and won't stay silent when he sees something wrong. This isn't just about personal beef. It's about maintaining standards in a sport where politics and money often override merit and respect. So here's what we're looking at. Floyd Mayweather calling out Devin Haney for being all gym and no show, Shakur Stevenson issuing open challenges to anyone brave enough to step up, and a whole web of potential superfights that could reshape the entire lightweight and welterweight divisions. This isn't just about individual fighters anymore, it's about power, respect, and who really runs boxing in 2024. The sparring session that started all this drama might have looked like routine preparation, but it exposed fault lines in the sport that run way deeper than anyone expected. What do you think? Is Devin Haney really just a gym warrior? Or is Floyd being too harsh on a young champion still finding his way? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind the scenes, smash that like button, subscribe for more boxing drama, and hit the notification bell, because these fighters are about to make some major moves that you won't want to miss. I'll see you in the next one. The ripple effects from Floyd's explosive comments are already changing how fighters approach their careers, and you can see it in the recent moves being made across multiple divisions. Ryan Garcia just announced he's ready to face anyone in the top 5, clearly motivated by seeing how Shakur's open challenge strategy is gaining respect from legends like Floyd. Tank Davis is suddenly pushing for bigger names instead of tune-up fights, and even Devin Haney's team is scrambling to book a statement fight that proves Floyd wrong. This isn't coincidence. When Money Mayweather speaks, the entire boxing ecosystem shifts, And right now, everyone's trying to position themselves on the right side of his opinions. But here's what nobody's talking about that could change everything. The financial implications of Floyd's criticism are absolutely massive for Devin Haney's earning potential. Think about it. When the most successful boxer in history questions your ability to perform under pressure, that directly impacts your pay-per-view numbers, sponsorship deals, and negotiating power for future fights. Promoters are suddenly hesitant to offer top dollar for a fighter who's been labeled a gym warrior by Floyd Mayweather himself. Meanwhile, Shakur's stock is skyrocketing because Floyd essentially endorsed his fighting spirit and willingness to face anyone. We're talking about millions of dollars potentially shifting between fighters based on one sparring session and Floyd's reaction to it. The timing of Floyd's comments couldn't be worse for Devin's team because they were reportedly in advanced negotiations for a massive 8-figure deal that would have set him up for life. Sources close to the situation say those talks have suddenly cooled after Floyd's criticism went viral, with promoters now demanding Devin prove himself in a high-risk fight before they commit that kind of money. This is the harsh reality of boxing. Your reputation can change overnight, and when it comes from someone with Floyd's credibility, the financial consequences are immediate and brutal. Devin's father Bill is now facing the impossible task of rebuilding his son's reputation while trying to secure fights that could restore confidence from both fans and financial backers. What makes this situation even more complex is that Floyd's training camp has become the unofficial proving ground for determining who's really elite and who's just hype. Fighters are literally begging for the chance to spar in Floyd's gym because they know his stamp of approval can launch careers while his criticism can destroy them. Shakur earned that approval through his performance and attitude, but Devin walked away with a reputation-damaging assessment that's following him everywhere. Other fighters are taking notes, adjusting their training approaches, and completely changing how they handle sparring sessions because they've seen how quickly Floyd's opinion can shift careers in either direction. The psychological warfare aspect of this drama is absolutely fascinating because Shakur is using Floyd's endorsement as a weapon against every potential opponent in his division. He's essentially walking into negotiations with Floyd Mayweather's cosign, which gives him incredible leverage when discussing terms, opponents, and purse splits. Meanwhile, Devin has to overcome the narrative that he can't perform when it matters most, which puts him at a disadvantage in every conversation about big fights. This mental edge could be the deciding factor if these two ever actually step into the ring together, because Shakur knows he's already won the war of perception before the first punch is thrown. The media circus surrounding this situation has created unexpected opportunities for fighters who weren't even part of the original drama. Lightweight contenders like Isaac Cruz and Rolly Romero are suddenly getting mentioned for major fights because promoters need alternatives to the Shakur-Devin matchup that might never happen. These fighters are capitalizing on the chaos by positioning themselves as the solutions to the problems created by all this back-and-forth drama. Sometimes the biggest winners in boxing politics are the fighters who stay quiet, stay ready, and let others destroy each other with words while they prepare to capitalize on the opportunities that emerge from the wreckage. International fighters are also paying attention to how American boxing politics are playing out, with several European and Mexican champions expressing interest in facing whoever emerges from this lightweight chaos. The global boxing scene is watching American fighters tear each other down while preparing to swoop in and claim the biggest fights and paydays for themselves. This could be the opening that fighters like Ryan Garcia's potential international opponents have been waiting for a chance to step into the American market, while the domestic stars are busy fighting each other on social media instead of in the ring.